Welcome back to the eSkate Chat podcast, and on this one we're going to be talking about all things Australian Open 2022. Before we jump into the nitty-gritty of racing, I'll just give a quick recap on what the event is. It's on August 27th in Brisbane, Australia at the Redlands BMX facility. We got a couple classes, so no matter how you want to ride, we got the pro class for the ultra competitive. If you want more of a friendly banter competitive atmosphere, there is the sport class. There's a women's class. It's open to all electric skateboards, and it's in about 2 months' time. So make sure you tell your boss that you need some leave. You can send your boards to us. We'll get into that in a bit, and that's about it. Let's get stuck into it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the eSkate Chat podcast with Evolve.
Are we going to use the technology from what's on the Hayden series?
It's changing that whole final drive ratio.
Surfing this endless wave through Tokyo.
Electric skateboarding is like breaking through.
Every time I wanted to drink, I would step on this board.
Heard somebody say, "Hey, Dean."
100%.
We'd love to build our own specialised eSkate track. I mean, the amount of thought that went into that.
I want to talk about how it affected the riders.
I went skating with Tony Hawk.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Really? There's a whole new product line.
I've done things I never thought I'd be able to do because of electric skateboarding.
We're here with Evolve founder Jeff Anning and, of course, Tyler Zahabi, who is reigning Australian champion, UK champ, world champ. He's a pretty well-known racer in the Evolve world. How you doing?
Good, yourself?
Oh, pretty well.
That's
Are you excited for the Australian Open?
I'm very excited. Haven't had one in a few years. So.
Yeah, actually, going back, when was the last one?
The last race was, I'm pretty sure it's 2019, just before COVID kicked off, and it was in the UK, the UK Open. And we were all there, actually, together. You were definitely a lot younger. I do remember that.
Yeah, what? You were there just before you were 18.
I think, it was right before I turned 18. So I was 17.
That's right. We couldn't let you come to any of those bars.
No, wasn't allowed to.
And the Australian Open was last run in 2018?
Yeah, 2018. That's right.
So it's been a little gap. We did try and do it last year. COVID played its role, but we're back now and it's on the calendar for 2022.
Yeah.
So the track itself, you've ridden it?
Yes, I've ridden it. It's at Redlands BMX Track. It's fun. Compared to other BMX tracks that we've ridden on, it's friendly. That's the way I like to put it. It's challenging, but friendly. And once you get around, the lap, it's start and finish. When you get to the end of it, you got full leg burn. There's no doubt about it, depending on how hard you go. But I think it's going to suit and challenge all sorts of rider abilities. If you want to go hard, you'll be tested. But if you just want to cruise and have fun, it'll be easy.
Yeah, the track is probably more suited to, in terms of the BMX world, like a kid's track. So it's better for the boards. It doesn't have any of these crazy big jumps that we see in America at Chula Vista.
Yeah.
Where, the boards are scraping and...
You need to put the plate underneath so everyone could go over.
Yeah, so this whole track is rather mellow, so you can ride it at a super slow pace if you want to, and then if you do want the speed, you got to focus on the rhythm and the pump. So it's going to be pretty cool in that aspect, and we're even the track's helping us shave down some of the bigger bumps, so it's going to be fast and flowy.
Yeah, no, that's good. There's a couple of really fun berms on it as well. There's one bitumen berm, which is quite big, so you can go up really high or hang down low. It's up to you. But yeah, I think everyone will have fun on this track.
Yeah, it's got 4 straights on it and 3 berms linking the straights. All the berms are bitumen. Have you raced on any of the tracks with the bitumen berms before?
I think was a World Cup AT race.
Yeah, at Chula Vista.
Yeah, Chula Vista.
Yeah, that track was intense.
Yeah.
A little bit of background. I remember when everyone rocked up that first day, the mood was great. Everyone got out of the buses and then they looked down at the track and their jaws dropped. And me too. That was the first time I saw it. I was like, "Ooh, shit, this is this is pretty intense." But what happened is once everyone did 1 or 2 laps, it was like, oh yeah, it's not too bad. But just for when you first look at it, it was pretty scary.
Yeah, so I think once everyone's stuck into this track, it's going to be
Easy
easy
as.
peasy.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about those other races, we've sort of had an evolution of how we've formatted them in terms of categories and, evolve only, wildcard races, all that sort of stuff. What's the setup we're doing for this race in 2022?
Yeah, so this is like an open, really. This is all about electric skateboarding. It's the passion for everyone who loves doing what we do. And, we want to include and get as many riders as possible, who, you got DIY boards, any brands, as long as your board can get around the track, it's all good. It's definitely evolved over the years, pardon the pun, but it started in 2018 was the first time at the World Cup where we actually made the open category, and it was called a wild card. And that was such a fun race. You remember that clearly. Yep. It had a very intense vibe. And that was the first time we'd, let anyone on the track. And also it was our stock standard GT boards at the time versus any DIY high-powered board. And the track was suited for both parties. And that was a great thing, and it was very clear, the industry has grown. There's many different players out there now, DIY, big boards, and we need to grow as an industry, and the more everyone sort of gets together and grows a sport, the better. So this is why we're doing now. This is an open race, and we did it again after the 2018 at the UK Open. That was the next one. And so that was a great event. That was an indoor motocross track in Devon, beautiful place. And it was just any AT board. There was a lot of mountain boards there, a lot of crazy forward drive boards. And it was really clear having an open, it just creates this next level of sort of competition. So this is where we're going now with this. And hopefully we can achieve this again at the Oz Open, and this is why we're promoting it now. We don't have long. We've got to get out there, get the message out there, what the race is about, the competitive side, as well as the fun participation side that we're trying to sort of attract people to come.
You said it well, I think, with the word intense. Like we saw that again at the Australian Open. The UK Open. Was because we scrapped the evolve only. There was just one category and everyone was in there together. And we did see those top 10 guys were quite intense. So I guess we've taken the learnings from that to sort of create a new structure of categories in this one called Pro and Sport. So what Pro is those top guys that are out there for the top place.
Yeah.
They're the competitive guys. This is the hard out racing.
The guys that put it on the line.
But then what we saw in the UK is actually the majority of people aren't really into that. They got to go to work on Monday. They don't want to.
Yep.
They don't want to be out there hurting themselves. So that's why we created the sport class, which is essentially it's still a race format, so it is competitive, but it's more of a casual competitive. Yep. It's to get the experience of racing and competition without having someone elbowing you and
That's right. So you can go as hard as you want. Out from the start line, you can just take it easy and let everyone go in front of you, and then you can just get around the track, or you can test yourself. It's up to you, but we want to make sure that it's not competitive and it's inclusive. And you're right about UK. There was the top 15 or 20 who just went hard, and the other bunch were just cruising, and that's what we found. So I think it's a great idea. The sport category is getting everyone there, participating, just having fun, and you can go as fast or as slow as you want.
Yeah, and realistically, these events are sort of just about getting together with other people that enjoyed the sport. So most of the time you're sitting around, you're watching other people, you're having conversations about your boards and your accessories and your mods and new stuff that's coming out. So just being at the event and I guess being included in some form of competition, I think people enjoy it a lot more than they might think if they think they're going to, I guess, be nervous about that race.
Yeah, and that's true. As soon as you put a competitive element to it, it definitely puts that sort of fear in the back of your mind. It's oh, geez, I I don't want to go too hard. I'm not about racing. I don't want to fall off or whatever. And we're trying to cater to that. And this is what the sport category is really all about. It's like, you don't have to do that. You can just get around and, it's up to you.
There is a lot of people that just want to go there just to like feel the track and be in a race and not go against like people that are just trying to win. Like they're not there trying to win, they're trying to just have fun. So I reckon that category is going to be good for those type of people.
Yeah, it's probably going to be the biggest category.
Yeah.
Because as we said, that is how the majority of people ride their boards. In addition, there is a women's category also. So it's been great. Last year, the one that we had to postpone, we did get a lot of women enter. So I'm super excited to see that come to fruition. And then all the categories have prizes too. So that's awesome. Our Ruroc helmets have given us a whole bunch of helmets. So they're spread out throughout the whole categories. Also Insta360 cameras. And then something we've never done before that we're pretty excited about is an actual cash prize in the pro category.
Yeah. So there's a cash pool, first, second, third. It'll be obviously divided out accordingly. And maybe this will attract some better riders, and we'll see how that goes down.
All categories are unrestricted in the terms of the boards that they can have in them. So we sort of see, and Tyler's probably better to talk about this, that in a BMX track environment, it's not necessarily about having the most powerful board. How do you feel? Because you've had a lot of races where you've been up against more powerful boards.
I feel like it's not about how fast your board is. I feel like it's about the acceleration and how you control your acceleration, coming out of a berm and then accelerating out of it. In a race, you're never really going to hit top speed. You won't, because you got too many berms coming up. You got too many of the woes coming up. So I feel like acceleration is like the top thing that's like most important in the race, and obviously like bending the knees and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, the actual skate skills is probably where it comes into playing a part. And that's where I've seen you've had a lot of benefit over other riders is the speed that you're able to hit a hump. Like other guys have to slow down quite a lot. Where do you find your biggest benefits are when you're like in the race environment?
I think my biggest benefits are going over the humps at pretty much full speed. But it's scary doing it, because the second that you get over that hump, you have to stomp your front down. And you have to do it going like 40 kilometers. So you need to be like constantly stomping down. But I've noticed in all my races, them and coming out of the berms, full acceleration. Like I'm already going into the berm at about probably half acceleration, and then full acceleration straight after it, straight into the humps, keeping a full acceleration. I think that's kind of where I get my advantage a little bit.
I don't think you'll be able to keep full acceleration over these hump sets at this Redlands.
Some of them. Not all of them. The one I'm concerned about is the first one, because the starting mount is a downhill ramp like a BMX track.
It's not very steep though. It's like
it's not steep, but if you were to launch out of the gate at full trigger, you would be going very fast by the time you got to that first hump. So people are going to have to manage their speed going into that first one. So if you are better at getting over that first hump, you're going to find yourself in the whole shot position and be in the lead from the start. And it is a single track, a single lap track. So there's only one lap. There's plenty of places to overtake, but getting in front of someone might not be as easy as being in front from the start.
Yeah. And that was the difference, we're at the UK Open, we did 3 laps. So there are opportunities to, pass, but we can't do it at this track.
I think our legs will probably fall off.
Oh, yeah. I actually thought 3 laps was probably a bit too much at the UK Open.
Yeah.
2 laps would have been okay.
That hurt. Even like coming off the board, trying to walk after it, he's like, no, I just need to sit down. My legs are just burnt.
Yeah. Yeah, we did have a few people drop out after the first hour at the UK Open too. It was just too much.
Legs couldn't handle it.
The very last straight on this it's not like any tabletop jumps. It's just all rollers. So you really just have to like be pumping over these massive rollers. And if you weren't sore coming into that straight after 30 meters of it, you're starting to think, oh dear, thank God that's the finish line. I reckon people are going to be training. I know people are training for this. They're actually going out to these tracks and practicing what they're going to be doing. So it's that stomp you were talking about. Can you talk them through sort of what's actually involved in doing that?
In doing like over the hump.
Over the hump, like what should they be looking for, and what's sort of the body movements that they need to be doing?
It's kind of just like all in the front foot, obviously. But,
So we're talking, you're going over it fast enough that the front wheels come off the ground.
Do you lean forward?
Yeah,
Where's your body position?
You kind of, as you're going up to it, you're kind of just leaning forward, and then as you've hit the hump and your wheels going off, you instantly just step it straight back down.
So you
just extend your right, well for me it's left foot because I'm regular. So I just stomp my foot down and I'm back in the ground again.
So in the back of your mind, you were like thinking, it was like, right, as soon as I sort of launch over this, I'm pushing down. Like you've actually front foot down.
Front foot down. So you're kind of like just focusing on the hump as it's coming up, and you can kind of feel your board starting to like lift off, and you just push instantly straight back down, and then you do it again and then again and again. You start getting it's like a muscle memory kind of thing.
It's a good tip.
As you're going up the hump, do you sort of ride the board up, or do you bend your knees and let the board come up towards you so you can push it back down?
You kind of bend a little bit, but not like a humongous amount, because then you can't, if you're too bent, you can't get a proper like push down, because it's kind of hard to, whilst you're bent, push the board down. So you kind of want to stay like, kind of like that. You don't want to bend too much, because then you won't be able to get a proper stomp down. So it's mainly just in the front foot. Like it's not really that much into bending your knees. Like obviously as you're coming up, you're kind of doing the usual. You bend your knees, then go straight as you're coming up to like from the bottom to the top. But then as you get to the top, you stomp your left foot. For me, left foot down, and it brings the board front nose back down, and then you go again and then repeat it. It's kind of like muscle memory.
Sounds easy.
It's not very easy at high speed, but if they practice it going like slower, then it eventually build up faster and faster and faster. They'll get it. That's how I learned.
Okay.
You've mentioned the corners are another bit where you find a bit of a benefit. So this one has large banked corners, and they're concrete. Yeah. I guess you haven't been to the track, but would you have any game plan for what's going to be faster, keeping high speed around the top, or tucking in?
You're trying to get me to tell my game plan.
Oh, look, people need to know.
I feel like with the berms, personally, going low is better, but like not too low that you have to completely slow down. It's about like, say, that's the bottom of the berm, that's the top of the berm, kind of like just above the bottom, because if you go up, then you got a bigger turning circle. If you go shorter and you keep a good speed, you got a shorter turning circle, but you need to get good at turning sharp.
I guess you got
high speed,
full grip as well, because it's bitumen. So there's an opportunity to grip and accelerate at the same time.
So in that case, lower is so much better.
On the grip, this is going to be an interesting one. What's the tyre choice for this track? Because both the start line and the corners are bitumen. So for the initial launch off the line and these corners, you're not really going to need dirt tread for that grip. What do you think?
I'd be going dirt tread.
You'd go dirt tread?
Yeah, because at least the dirt tread can still, shred on bitumen as well.
You thinking dirt?
Yeah, I'm thinking dirt. I've only ever really raced in dirt, muddies. So I don't know. I haven't really seen the track, so I couldn't really tell too much.
I was thinking slick.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll try and get back there before the race and do a few tests, maybe a video about some of the things we found so people can organise getting into it.
Okay. And are you going to do any preparation for this event?
Yeah.
You are?
I'm going to go train.
Okay.
It's been a few years I need to train.
That's the first time I've ever heard Tyler say he's going to train.
Usually I don't, but I haven't been riding the boards too much.
So let's talk about some of the other rules and all that for the race. Like, I remember last time when we got COVID shut down, we had like a battery rule, a certain voltage only. This time we've removed that. And what are the other rules?
There's pretty much not any rules on what board you can enter. Like, it's got to be an electric skateboard.
Yep.
We are allowing one wheels to race as well. get the one wheel community in there.
They're going to get destroyed.
They're going to struggle. But if they want to come, they can.
Yeah.
So other than that, it's standard race rules. So no contact. There's a rule about right of way going into a corner.
Yeah.
So you can't cut in front of the person in front of you by taking in the inside line to cut them off. It's really a safety thing. And then
Bindings.
so you're allowed bindings.
Yeah.
So you can ride whatever board, but again, in the interest of safety, it's not a mountain board event. It's electric skateboarding. So we are limiting people being able to jump the full length of the jump. So pretty much there'll be a lip and a landing. You're not allowed to clear the full length of that jump. Otherwise, you're going to be a meter in the air and you're going to be next to someone, and it could cause chaos. And realistically, there's only 2 or 3 guys capable of doing that. So they can sort of do what you do, is like get a little bit of air and push it down. And then that's a lot of the time quicker anyway, because you get the acceleration back on the ground.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, I think it'd be great, like, once that part of the industry does, develop and there are some, like, skillful riders out there, that'll be a fun race. There's no doubt about it. Guys who are definitely at that level, who can fully clear tabletops and keep them all in a category as a separate category together would be really cool, entertaining. But trying to keep 2 different types of board riders together like that, who knows, shit could really hit the fan.
Yeah,
Someone gets landed on.
Yeah, it would be chaos. And once you're strapped into some of these boards weigh 20 kilos. Like, it ends up pretty bad. But from a spectator point of view, if you had the 6 riders lined up and they all charged out, and then all 6 of them are in unison, actually jumping, doing these big airs, it would be very, very cool. So yeah, eventually the eSkate sport is growing, so we'll get there.
So other things that are going on with the Oz Open. So it's not just about the 3 categories. There's also a free ride category.
Yep, there is a free ride. So part of racing is that you get a practice session. So there'll be a few hours in the morning for practice. If people are really dead set against racing, we have opened that up as well. You can get a ticket just for the free ride, and you pretty much come up and it's an open track, and at your own leisure, you get to ride a BMX track. You're not going to get, afraid of someone coming and kicking you out, and you still get to ride with all the races. On top of that, the Friday night, there's going to be a group ride. So we'll get the community together before and go for a casual community ride. Always.
Location still to be confirmed, whether it's Brisbane or Gold Coast.
Yeah.
We're still working that out.
Yeah, we'll find exactly what's going to be best. All the details get posted on the Australian Open Facebook page. So if you go to Evolve Events, you'll find it there in the tabs. And there's also, obviously, the ticket page on the website has all the information you possibly need to know. And then, of course, after the Oz Open itself, there's going to be an after party. So
Yeah.
we got a brewery, more details to come on that as well.
Yeah.
But that's always
fun.
Always fun.
It's good to catch up there around after and, share the war stories of the day. What we're also doing, though, at the event is we're trying to get some vendors to come along. And so we're looking for different styles of businesses who want to come and display their product. Other brands, especially the guys in Southeast Queensland, we know there's a lot of passionate crew here. So it'd be great if they can come along and help us sort of build that village out.
Yeah, having a eSkate village would be super cool. That hasn't been done in Australia before.
Yeah, that's
We've
right.
seen it in America a couple times, and there's some gear and components and all the little bits and pieces, and then a bunch of boards.
Yeah, so we want to get some of our retailers. I know Monster, we've got them sponsoring the event, and ideally it'd be great if we can get some other brands along to come along and have some fun and help support.
Yeah, if you are in the eSkate industry and you want to come along, just send us a message on Instagram, and we'll sort it out.
Yeah.
In addition, Obviously, there's people coming from all over Australia, and I know some guys from New Zealand are booked as well.
Have they? Okay,
so we
that's cool.
Got some Kiwis coming over. We were talking about doing some sort of state versus state. We'll tally up the points from each eSkate crew. Just a bit of fun state banter.
Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, what we really need is, we know there's heaps of eSkate riders groups, in different states, local communities. Ideally, we want, these guys coming along, bring your friends, have some fun. Like, it's not always just about the racing. It's also about sort of like there's a culture to it as well. If we can get people talking about it in some of these groups, would be good. We want to drive Australian eSkate, no matter what board or brand you got. This will be good. So come along.
You're awesome. And we know about the limitations of traveling with electric skateboards too. So we're offering a service pretty much on that product page as an email where anyone can email us and we'll organize all the shipping. So we'll send you the shipping thing, you send it to us, and then we'll take your board to the event, or you can come and get it here beforehand.
Yep.
You do have to do it about 2 weeks before because, things can get held up. We'd hate to have you not get your board for the race, but that's an option. So all the people over in Perth, Sydney, New South Wales, down in Melbourne, of course. And there's some crew in Tassie now. There's a bit of a scene growing there, which is awesome.
Yep.
We'd love to get everyone to come out, and there's no reason not to.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, it'd be interesting to see the Melbourne crew versus Sydney crew versus Southeast Queensland, group as well.
State of origin.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. The sort of Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne are the big guys that all sort of know each other. But I know the Perth crew has some fast riders.
100%. Yeah, these guys love their racing over there, and they've got some pretty cool things happening.
Yeah.
So, we're looking forward to seeing those guys come along. Be great to meet everyone, have some fun.
Yeah, I'd say it's going to be the biggest eSkate event Australia's seen.
Yeah.
Something not to miss out on.
Yeah, and we just need everyone's support. Like, if you're on the fence, you're not sure if you want to race, that's fine. We've got free ride categories, but just come along, have fun, support it, and, let's drive Australian eSkate.
Yeah. It's pretty much it. So we really need the community support as well to actually make this happen and keep it going and do more and more of these things.
Yeah.
All right. So Tyler, are you expecting first place?
Yep.
Sounds good. Come and knock him off his horse.
Come and try.
Yeah, he's pretty cocky, but mate, there's definitely
3 titles behind my back.
I've never seen him lose, to be honest.
3 different continents.
It's been a couple of years though since that last race, so you are only as good as your last game, as they say. Yep. But I know there's some pretty good riders here in Oz.
I'm a bit old now, so you never know.
Oh gosh,
could pull my back out. Won't be able to race.
Awesome. All the information for the event, getting your tickets, everything you need to know is in the description of this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the Australian Open.
Awesome. Thanks. See you guys.